Are we rolling? Are we? Oh yeah, audiencia! Welcome to the Oye Dimelo Cinema Club party. Oh boy, here we are, and we're going to review the new Illumination movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie from Nintendo, Japan, and Dominions. Awesome! Nah, I'm just kidding, but I'm JP Sperno. Joined with me is, of course, Michaela Booth. We also got our lovely panel of co-hosts. We got Don Dino right there. He's doing a great impression of my father right now. We got Steve Des TV, Chris, and Jason Eccles. And today we're watching. Today we already watched it. Some of us watched it, but it's cool. No worries. We're reviewing Weird, the Al Yankovic story from the Roku channel, brought to you by Eric Appel, co-written by Weird Al himself, and from the folks at Funny or Die, since this movie was actually based upon a theatrical fake cinema trailer, kind of like how they did it with Machete and whatnot back in the day. I did background for a sketch once for Funny or Die, and my check for that sketch, it bounced. And I'm just kidding. I was not offered any money for that role. But anyways, here we are. We're here to discuss about the movie. We're going to find out, is it any good? Is it more UHF-y? Or is it just too fucking niche like the movie itself? So I'm going to pass the baton. Let's make it easy on our editors behind the scenes. I will pass it on to my wonderful partner, Kayla, right here. They're right here. What do you thought about Weird, the Al Yankovic story?
I hated how good this movie was. I hated how good this film was. You know, but like this is what he does best. Is like he takes a genre and he plays it so straight that for like 2 seconds you're like, wait, no, this is what this actually is. You know? And it's really fun, and if you're a fan of Weird Al, it's a must-see.
As opposed to the other 98% of the population, they could probably just skip the movie in its entirety.
No, like, I think it's really fun.
Okay, sorry. All right, we'll pass it along again to, hold on. If the finger, wrong one. Well, let's, no whammies. Stop, we'll go, teacher, Chris.
So for me, this movie was a parody, just like one of his songs. The whole movie is like one of his songs. Like everything is just ridiculous the entire time. And I forgot how clean he is, like comedy wise. Like he doesn't do anything that's over the top in like, doesn't have to curse a million times. He's kind of like Sinbad's comedy career. You know, like he doesn't curse a whole lot, but still can make you laugh in like a really clean way. I thought it was fun. It was a fun hour and 48 minutes, I think it was. I just thought it was a fun movie. I have nothing negative to say about it at all. I love that it was kind of like the movie adaptation where the movie starts off and it's supposed to be one thing and it's written a certain, his life is actually something, and then they just go way off on it. And it made me think of other movies like that.
Awesome sauce. Okay, I'm gonna pass it on. I'm gonna pass on to my dad, Dino. What's up, Dino? What's up?
Hola, mi hijo. I enjoyed it, man. Daniel Radcliffe is having quite a career. He's great. I mean, he's again like of child actors that we've talked about before. I think of not being able to transition. He's done such a great job of being like, you know what, I'm gonna pick and choose everything that I do. So yeah, first off, he did great. I don't know about Weird Al having kind of a ripped body, or not that Daniel Radcliffe is super ripped, but just he's no slouch. The movie itself, I had a bunch of cameos. And I enjoyed some that were just like one-liners or just kind of there. It reminded me a little bit of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, in the sense like from scene to scene you would have one or two known actors or personalities just do like one scene and done. kind of with UHF, maybe because I was watching it alone and I started like at 8 in the morning. I got a little tired, not because it was bad or anything, just like it becomes a little repetitive for sure in the grand scheme of it. But just when you think like, all right, this is kind of tapering out, he comes and he hits you with this other thing that for people that haven't seen it, I won't ruin it right now. But yeah, I enjoyed Daniel Radcliffe's acting as well as basically everyone else. The Madonna, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how well she did it, or if again, it could have just been like, we're not doing, with most of them, we're not. These are caricatures of the people that are the real people, right? So she probably was just having fun with it. Yeah. So yeah, I enjoyed it for sure.
Awesome sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and probably say like I think it was the script maybe's fault and not Evan Rachel Wood, because I think she did great. But yeah, very much simplistic, borderline. Borderline.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill, who was in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, was supposed to actually make a cameo in this movie as well, but he's got a schedule to uphold and whatnot, and it's whatever. I think he would have been cool in this movie, but that's neither here nor there. I'm gonna pass this. We're gonna strike it to Dez. What do you thought, my dude? What about Dez?
This movie was so nice. I actually watched it twice.
Oh, hey.
In regular speed?
Yes.
Were you ironing?
In regular speed. The second time I did, I was doing some other things, but I was
without ads.
Without ads, yeah. So I don't know what JP was complaining about, but like the Roku mine didn't have any ads. So
you got the premium.
I watched that thing the whole way through, normal, no ads. I would have been really mad if I saw any ads. I think the only ad that I watched in the movie was one that he was going on like a LSD trip or something.
Yeah.
I think that was like the only ad I watched in the movie. I enjoyed it a lot. Actually, the reason I also watched it the second time was because the movie is so over the top in a lot of moments that I was just like, I want to confirm like the things that are real versus the things that are not real. And I was shocked about how many things were actually real in this movie and how many of these characters were actually real. Because I was just like, oh my God, like the dude that like Rainn Johnson or
Rainn Wilson.
Rainn Wilson.
Dr. Demento.
Is a real dude.
Yeah.
Like with the whole costume and everything. I was like, that's crazy. And also I got shocked because at one point, spoiler alert, sorry, but at one point I was just like, who is this guy playing this guy? And then I found out, it was Conan O'Brien. And I was like, that's crazy.
We've had a few people that were in the movie that we've seen before. Lin-Manuel Miranda is also in it.
Yeah, the fucking nerd.
If you blink, you probably don't recognize him or see him.
Yes.
Yeah, I the less than a second into the fucking movie, I saw it.
Screaming about this cameo. Took it very personal.
I did. We also saw Emo Phillips with Conan O'Brien. Mm-hmm. Emo Phillips played Salvador Dali, who was also in UHF. We got several people who died recently, like someone played Gallagher and Coolio also in the movie. They both died this year.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
But that's not Coolio though, right?
No. Actors playing cameos as those
right.
in the movie. But yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was a little bit of a low blow, especially if it got filmed after he died. That's why I thought maybe like kind of
I thought
Austin
they
Powers, right? They have
Yeah.
that Lady Di joke of getting, and then that same year that it came out, she died, right? So
Mhm.
that so I don't know if the whole Coolio thing was there
Oh no,
and it got filmed
movie
before he
was
died.
the movie was finished right. It was finished before he passed away, and
Yeah.
both Julio and Weird Al, like they even before then they
Yeah,
made
yeah, yeah.
them. They were
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
I know they made peace. So maybe there was going to be a longer scene with Coolio, but they just did a pan, and
Yeah,
that was it.
which I
That's
believe.
all they needed.
That's all they
needed.
needed. That
It
was
was
just
great.
it was
It was great.
brilliant. So we're gonna pass it on. We're gonna go to wrong way. We got Jason all the way over there in the corner.
Hey. So I'm sorry to say I didn't actually finish this whole movie. It turns out I got about an hour into it. So I didn't see it, but I will say this. I will say what I can wrap my head around the first 60 minutes of this film. Initially, when the movie started, I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really like it because I didn't really understand the pacing or the rhythm of it. And I was like, oh, I'm not really sure what they're doing here. And so I was like, I don't know how much of this I could actually watch. But this is one of the rare films that actually keeps getting better the more you watch it, because the rhythm of it is actually pretty good. And I can understand why Steve would have watched this twice. I feel like this movie would be better with the second viewing, or if you just stick with it, which I will finish it. I just didn't, but I did get in. So I do think that the Harry Potter kid Daniel Radcliffe is pretty good in it. I really like what he does. He carries the movie quite well. And I also thought Evan Rachel Wood is very good in this film. And I really like how they play off each other, to be honest with you. Like, I would like to see them do some more work together, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen her do comedy before, but she's very good at, I don't know if she's a straight man or not, but they definitely played well off each other. The question
You
that
gotta
I have,
finish watching. Sorry, if you finish watching, I think that would answer your question if he's playing the straight man or not.
okay. I do wonder how much of this was actually real or not. I mean, obviously this is a parody of parodies, but it's I mean, some of the stuff is so over the top, and some of it I know is just full blown, just jokes and him making fun of his own career, and I know a lot of it's not true and it's like exaggerated for the sake of being funny. But there's so many like real people in this movie, so many real characters that are real people, that I'm not really sure what's real and what's not, or what, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
And a part of me kind of wants to know, like, well, what actually happened in your career? Like, what I mean, was it not that interesting? You know what I mean? Like, it couldn't have been this interesting, obviously. But what part of it?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I believe the ending song to this movie does say that everything was 100% true. So I would love to believe that Al would not lie to me as a fan, but I am willing to bet that this movie is about as accurate as that Rocket Man movie that we saw about Elton John. I bet that they have the same amount of facts right.
And Queen.
Well, I feel like that's where they got the pacing from, anyways. Is like Rocket Man is like what started like these weird like highly stylized biopics of like art, because that's what the parody is. It's great. So, like, that's why I think the pacing is kind of weird at first, because they have to set up that whole "my family doesn't love me enough."
What were you?
It's a parody of Rocket Man for sure.
And Queen, I would say, because Queen, it's and Walk Hard, right? The Dewey Cox story that is is a spoof itself. So it's like, yeah, they all follow the same. My parents didn't like me. My dad didn't want me to do this. I mean, my favorite stuff is just how they would make like polka being cool and hip and like their polka parties. Like I just lost it. The fact that they were making like, I mean, don't get me wrong. My parents love to polka dance. Sorry, what did you say, Michaela?
That one line, like, how many conversations have we had with, like, that person at the party? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm not really into, like, this kind of music. Like, I'm into this kind of polka. It's the real stuff. Like, that whole conversation that they put in there was just like, guys.
I wish that they kind of kept that up, where the polka was, like, not mainstream, but was considered cool. Because they did drop it once the movie goes into Daniel Radcliffe, his part of the movie. So, like, I guess.
Well, see, that's actually where I got into the film. When the polka party happens and they're making polka this really big deal. Like, that's when I'm like, oh, this is funny, and I've never really seen that before. I've never really seen anyone do something like this ever, you know. So that's when I was like, okay, now I'm on board. Let's see where they can go with it. So that was the jumping off point for me to legitimize this movie in my own mind.
I remember as a young tyke myself, I thought the accordion was fucking bomb. Like, if you saw a mariachi with an accordion, it's like, that guy gets all the puh.
Well, GP, all I have to answer to that is you were a Thomas the Train kid.
Shut the fuck. Thomas the Tank Engine. No one calls it the train. The train is the engine, the coaches, and the freight. The engine is the engine. Thomas is not the train.
The prosecution rests.
Then you shouldn't watch Bullet Train.
Sorry for derailing the conversation. Let's talk about Daniel Radcliffe, because a lot of us actually in our initial thoughts brought up Daniel, and I think that's a good way to start off with the conversation. Like, let's talk about our main dude, fucking HP over here. I'm glad that like Radcliffe has the fucking Warner Brothers Harry Potter money that he got from his childhood, because I can do whatever the fuck he wants. And like, he does not, because there's a few actors in this movie that I agree with Jason, where a few of them do not play the straight man. A few of them kind of play along with the joke. But like Daniel, and especially the fellas who play his bandmates, who they're real. The bandmates are real. It's Bermuda Schwartz, Steve, and I believe Jim. I think Jim, his last name is hilarious, but it's Bermuda, Steve, and Jim. They're all real. They're a part of his band. They've been with him since the beginning, and like those guys, the four of them, like they act the shit out of their scenes, even when they're ridiculous. They're brilliant.
But like, I think that's what makes this movie so good. Is like they know when to play it straight as part of the joke. You know, like I think that's kind of the brilliance of it. Is like, Daniel is acting the crap out of this. Like he really just went full ham, like to the and like it's not even like funny comedian acting either. Like he's acting like shit. He's playing it real as can be. Like that's I think what really makes this movie like good and durable is that you're like I'm gonna keep watching Daniel because he's really like he's really making it as he's the most believable character, right? Like the most everyone else, I guess his roommates you can kind of they're kind of the more grounded ones, but like the way Daniel like sells everything is really, really good.
I thought they were his imaginary friends at first. I didn't think they were going to be real people because they were so supportive. They're like, the Baloney song is amazing. And I was like, who? You know what I mean? Like they seem so much cooler than him, like traditionally in that sense. And I was like, what is going? He's so supported here. These are not real people. I thought they were imaginary friends.
Oh, man, because they look like the typical, like, poor band social guys. Yes. And then you have fucking Daniel Radcliffe.
Right. They look like, college frat guys, and then...
But we're gonna say Dino.
Well, that's where I think it's kind of like Queen, right? That he had those roommates as well that kind of jumped in, although he actually jumped in with them. That was also one of my favorite. I mean, it's such a stereotypical thing, but it's like, come on, he needs help, right? And they all like pick up drums and the guitars to be his backup. And then he's like, afterwards, I didn't know you guys played instruments. It's like, yeah, we do. We just never had a good time to bring it up or something like that. It never came up in conversation. Yeah, so many great little bits.
Well, that is just, I think that's also kind of a play on it too, you know, because like I feel like in a lot of these stories, like no one's supportive of these people's dreams. It's always just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So like I think that's also kind of part of the joke, and also like I don't think Al could do his band like that. Like I think it would have been physically painful for Weird Al to read them being mean to each other. He would have been like,
no, I love those guys.
Like I'm sorry, but no.
Yeah, no, them as a group, they're just so brilliant. And then you kept on bringing it up while we were watching the movie. Is like look at his fucking sad puppy eyes.
Yes, the whole time, his eyes are just like, whoever was DP like just utilized the crap of Daniel Radcliffe's eyes. Like whatever, like the lighting guy like earned his money.
Oh, man, look at them marbles.
Just always so sad.
Right, Des, what did you thought of Mr. Radcliffe?
No, I thought he did a great job overall. Like Dino was saying, like he was the reason you kind of kept going with the movie too, because he played it so grounded, you know, when Weird Al is like absolutely the opposite, but it was cool, just the realness that he brought to that character. And in a way, this movie, the way that it was formatted, since Jason was talking about the pacing, I think definitely a big inspiration. I mean, there's multiple inspirations for this particular film, but definitely one was The Wolf of Wall Street, because I got like that vibe in certain shots.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense.
And the door scene.
Not that budget, but what's up?
The door scene.
Yeah,
like from The Doors, that was like straight from that movie with Jim Morrison on stage. Like he literally is about to whip out, and the cops come. That's exactly from that movie. And he breaks out the accordion.
I love that.
It's like,
it's so
because like
I'm gonna whip it out. I'm gonna pull it out. And
that's exactly what Jim Morrison did.
Accordion, and then just like automatically gets tackled.
And he had leather pants on and no shirt. Like it was totally supposed to be. Yeah.
I also just love that monologue. The monologue is credited because there is there's instrumental in the background as a song. Mm-hmm. So it is in the ending credits. That moment is credited as a song. But like it's brilliant because like out of context, I was like, oh my god, yeah, definitely bunch of like when artists are on their the lowest of the low. I definitely that's familiar. But in context, when you listen to what he's saying, like in the world of this movie, it's like you guys just work at a factory. God only knows what they make there.
They don't tell you. They don't tell you what's in the factory.
It's just great. That's a running joke. It's like you never know what's being made at the factory that the dad happens to work at. The factory that has had multiple fatalities in this giant industrial shredder that in the dream sequence Al has to go through in order to be reborn. But it's just I love the use of callbacks in the movie. Mm-hmm. Like there's jokes that you would think like, oh, like it's one and done, you're not gonna bring it up again, but no, they bring it they know when to.
Yeah.
Oh man, that moment was gold.
And And like I think that also adds to like how surprising this movie is too. Like there's no like I can't say too much.
Yeah.
Because it's just like I feel like he went into an area that not a lot of people would be willing to go, but it works so well.
I think that's a good segue. Is there any moment now in the film, now that we done talking about Radcliffe, I want to go more into like the ensemble, but I think that's a good moment too, because like me, even as a fan, there's a lot of moments in this film that shocked me to my core. Is there any moments that literally took you guys off guard or like shocked you, or any just like outstanding moments? We'll put it at that. Outstanding moments for you guys regarding whatever.
I mean,
I'll go ahead since everybody's quiet. Outstanding moments. I put favorite bit or scene.
That's
so to me, I really like. I enjoy just of how like wacky it was, and literally was the scene I researched a little bit the most, I guess, out of this movie. Was the pool party scene. So when he goes and when there are all those cameos, in particular, I mean, later was the Conan O'Brien character, because I was like, wait, who's that playing that? Like, oh, Conan O'Brien. But the one that got me at first was Jack Black.
As well.
Because I was like, yo, who is this Jack Black character he's playing? Like,
you don't know about the Wolfman?
I didn't know. I had to research him.
Yeah.
So
I can see how that is funnier on the second viewing, because the minute he came on, I was like, I totally know that. I was part of this poker game at a theater, and the director who we played with, he would put on, the Wolfman like radio station, which other people have taken over his persona as well.
Yeah.
But yeah. So who else, Steve?
Tiny Tim. Tiny Tim was awesome too.
Divine. They also have what's her name?
Alice Cooper.
Alex
Who was Tiny Tim in it?
Grace. What's her name? She's a model.
Where was Tiny Tim? Was
Dimitri Martin played Tiny Tim.
Yeah, at the very beginning. He's like the first.
Who Tiny Tim is?
No. In the pool party, you had Tiny Tim?
Yep. He was like the first person he met or second person he met.
I guess I didn't. That one went over my head.
Yeah, because like Divine was there. They had Grace. Oh, what's her name? She's like a famous model who's like
Elvira was there.
Elvira was there.
Elvira was there.
As mentioned earlier, Gallagher was there.
If they were making fun also of La La Land a little bit, having like the back pool party and
Also had like Boogie Nights vibes.
We talk about Rocket Man. Elton John is also there, and it's literally as the caricature from the fucking movie Rocket Man. Like it was plain as day as like. That's the Rocket Man Elton John.
Is that where the Doors guitarist is and no one knows who he is?
The Queen bassist.
Oh, sorry, Queen.
Yeah.
I forget the actor's name, but he's in so many great things. So I think it's brilliant that he played that role, and he also played it really straight in that one scene. And like as we were watching, it's like when Jack Black drops the Wolfman persona. I was like, that's not Jack Black acting. That's Jack Black like being a fucking nerd to Al at the moment.
Like this is what I was gonna say at your eulogy.
I totally thought
the pool party was interesting because that's when I started to question like the validity of the movie, because I was like, wait a minute. I know this didn't happen this way, but is any part of this true?
Yeah.
Like, did the Wolfman Jack really have like a beef with Weird Al? And who was the guy that Wolfman was with at that pool party?
John Deacon,
the guy from Queen.
Right. Did they really not like Weird Al? Because Weird Al went pretty hard on them. Like, did they really like try to like? I mean, did they do something shady to him or try to snub him at a thing at some point in life?
From my
It just
understanding,
seemed like he went really hard at those guys.
from my understanding, to like from what is real and what is not, Queen, the band themselves, they happen to like Weird Al. I think Freddie Mercury did like his music. I don't know about the drums or bass. I forget what he did. And also, like half of almost everyone in that pool party scene should not have existed, because like half of them were not even from the same decade.
Yeah, where was Carrot Top? Carrot Top should have been there.
Oh, if Gallagher was there, Carrot Top should have been there. Exactly.
Well, you had Gallagher, you had Pee Wee Herman. There was
How about Pee Wee?
And I was like, wait, Pee Wee came after Al. You're like Pee Wee should not be in that scene.
I think Paul Rubens just hangs out in the Pee Wee costume at pool parties.
I feel like Pee Wee and Al were from the same era.
I think Pee Wee was like late 80s, but Weird Al was definitely like early mid 80s when he got his start. Yeah.
But I mean, he was still big in the late. I mean, anyway, yeah. Oh, that's Jason, where you question yourself, not when Thomas Lennon gets his ass beat by the dad.
I thought I told you to shut up.
John Lennon?
Thomas Lennon, the Reno.
Say again? I didn't hear you.
Thomas Lennon.
He plays the salesman, which that's actually a true.
The accordion salesman.
Yeah.
That gets his ass kicked.
That was true.
Who is Thomas Lennon? Who is that?
He's from Reno 911, but he's from The State. Remember the show The State on MTV?
Oh yeah, sure. No, I don't mean like the validity of the movie as far as like what was true, as far as like I meant like what was like historically accurate that was going on with him with like the other celebrities and his like journey through Hollywood and whatnot. Not necessarily like what actually happened, because I don't think any of this happened. You know what I mean?
Any of it.
I just mean like the feelings that he had towards people and maybe run-ins that he had, and like was he in the circle with certain people, that kind of thing.
I think that, I mean, probably the ones he's probably close to are the ones that he was making fun of the most. Just the idea that they invite him to Live Aid to like play one of their songs. If he laughs them off, it's great.
And the line in the ending credits song is like we did make up one. I did make up one up. The only thing that we made up was I actually did perform in Live Aid, and I blew them off the freaking stage. It's a great line in that song. But yeah, no, it's weird. What is the little bubbles of truth and the little bubbles of fiction? Well, no, the fiction ones are pretty fucking big bubbles. They're not small at all. Like when you know enough, it's fun, because like I know there's an inside joke where when he first meets with the Scotti brothers, which is where he did get his first record deal, they make the joke saying like we'll set you for a 13 record deal, right? Which is funny, but that's actually true. He was stuck with their contract for the longest time and just barely got out like a few years ago when he basically semi-retired from doing music, which is funny because like, oh, that ended up being true. Like they did sign him on to this ridiculously long deal. He did get his accordion from Salesman. He could either picked an accordion or a guitar, and he picked the accordion. Madonna supposedly did inspire like a surgeon, since they had a mutual friend, and Madonna brought up in a conversation like, when is Weird Al gonna make fun of my song Like a Virgin? And she said like a surgeon, and then Weird Al heard it and was like, okay, yeah, I'll do Like a Surgeon. And he did fucking just murdered Pablo Escobar like a goddamn animal.
Yes,
that's what you missed, Jay.
Did you make it to that, Jason?
I did not make it to him murdering Pablo Escobar.
Ah, fuck!
It takes a Inglorious Bastard
turn.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Rehistorification for sure.
That third act was its own fucking movie. Like
Oh,
the sudden like 180 that happened within a diner scene was insane.
That was gonna be
so,
because I think that's like my new favorite one-liner where he's like, "Don't hurt me." Like, I could see kids quoting that for ages. If this had come out in like the early 2000s, that would have been an entire generation of 12-year-olds' personalities.
So this expands on UHF, and especially the second part of it is, I would imagine, is what the budget that he might have liked for like that second part of UHF, or like towards the end, because like the diner scene, it's like it got a little gun food, John Wick, like it was wild.
Action.
Yeah.
It was a good fight.
Oh, and what's with the panini order up? Is that what he says at the
Yeah.
Die! Oh man! And then
I was actually embarrassed during the movie at the end with the whole Amish, the father, that whole thing. I was like, how did I not pick up that's where they were going with this? They said Amish, I didn't even think of it.
I was kind of like, Amish is a little random. Like,
yeah, it's so weird. And then all of a sudden they did that, and I was like, oh, yeah. I was embarrassed for myself.
I would have loved that at least maybe Eminem would make a cameo, right? But I don't know how their relationship is, you know.
That one's
Did he parody an Eminem song?
Yeah,
White and Nerdy.
What?
No, White and Nerdy was Chameleonaire.
What?
White and Nerdy was Chameleonaire, was a Chameleonaire parody. And
what was the Eminem song?
What was the Eminem one?
Eminem was Couch Potato, which was a parody of Lose Yourself. And that one got into heat because Weird Al not only got Eminem's blessing to make the parody, but he also got the okay to make a music video. And then midway through production of the music video, he was told by Eminem's representatives and by Eminem himself that, like, no, we changed our mind. You can't make the music video. So there was a bit of a turbulent thing there. But since then, Eminem has gone on record saying, like, hey, man, I might have been a little bit silly to tell Weird Al not to do the stuff, because Eminem was known for just, like, razzing on people for the longest time in the start of his career. So he saw how that was somewhat hypocritical. But yeah.
So wait, is there a music video for that?
There is not. Anything that was made, that they did make, it was tossed and they never finished it.
Maybe it'll pop up. Deleted footage.
Pop-up video.
Oh, pop-up video. Forgot about that.
Another thing that was an actual fact was that he created the song "Eat It," and then Michael Jackson created "Eat It."
I fucking love that. That was one of the things.
It took, like,
do that.
You know, I knew the beat right away, and I'm like, this is Beat It. And then he's like, I made this, and I'm like, wait, is this? Because before he says the lyrics, I'm like, the beat is Beat It. And then he's like, no, this is my song. And I'm like, wait, what song is this? And then when he's like, Eat It, I'm like, no, this is Beat It.
This is Michael Jackson's trying to say it's his. The kid from the Jackson 5?
I love that misdirection.
Such a good one.
Because I was so confused, because we all know, duh, like that's not real. But I was like, how are they gonna play this off in the movie?
Yeah,
and they found a way.
Didn't he come up with an actual polka album recently? And by recently, it could be the past 10 years.
He did a weird new age collaboration with a Southern American band recently. But the most recent like polka thing he did was he did a polka medley of Hamilton, which is why fucking Lin-Manuel is in the beginning of this fucking movie. And also, since we talked about the diners, that scene with where he finds out about the Beat It one, Josh Groban is there. And the fucking Mater D is like, Josh, you got a career. What the fuck are you doing here? Nerd!
This is tired.
It's brilliant. Like the amount of people who are willing to, because I like they didn't get paid. They did it because they just happened to like Al.
Yeah, I think the idea of getting more and more outrageous was really smart because it keeps you going the whole time, and it does, Jason. It gets way fucking crazier. Sorry, but
they turned it up to 11 for sure.
Yeah,
I look forward to talk about it, but I don't want to spoil it either.
No. You guys do your thing. I'm going to catch up as soon as we're done.
But they ended it so
the ending was great,
brilliantly. I was thrown the fuck off for the ending, but it was because there was no other way to end that movie right, and they did it right. Because I was like, no fucking way, and and they did, and it was brilliant.
It was brilliant.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I guess before we kind of, I guess that let's end it. Let's end like before our final thoughts.
Quick question. So at the award ceremony, and actual Weird Al is sitting there. Is that his wife he's sitting next to?
Yeah,
I would imagine,
that's his wife. Yeah.
Yeah. I would imagine they'd be like, I didn't marry Madonna, or I never had a thing with Madonna, right? So I was like, I'm pretty sure that's his wife, and they're winking at the camera.
Yeah. And you know, it's like she's a pretty lady, and it's like you go Weird Al with that Foxy. I think she's like rich. She's like the CEO of like Fox or something. She was a head of some division from Fox. Like that is insane. Like they ended up together because they had a mutual friend, and they quote unquote phone dated, where they were talking on the phone for about a month. They didn't know how they fucking looked like. Well, she probably knew how Weird Al looked like. He had no idea how his wife looked like. And it wasn't until they actually met in person for their first dine-in date that he got to meet her. It's like, that's insane. Like knowing someone for a month just through their voice and like nothing else.
You know what telephone conversations are?
The what?
Telephone conversations?
He means like a rotary phone.
Yeah, being young, talking. And he was banging on that. I like it, like you couldn't break that phone. Like you just couldn't break that phone.
The rights. Right.
It's such a specific choice that it's just like that has to be referenced to something. And I feel so dumb for not knowing.
He's kept smashing the phone.
Yeah. Right. That has to be from something.
Oh man.
I feel like there's a few different things that does that. I mean, it's not a crazy idea, right? Of like clink, clink, clink.
No, but it's such a, like I said, it was like such a specific choice, a very specific part of the movie
that was probably borrowed from something.
Yeah,
and they showed it more than once. They like went back to it, like in the same scene, but they went away from it and came right back to it too.
Well, I mean, it's from Run Lola Run.
Yeah, that's where it's from. Well, there's a stand-up comedian, I don't know who, but it's basically like it's not the same back in the day. If you were mad and wanted to hang up on someone, you could like slam the phone, down to like kind of like slamming a door. But now with a cell phone or whatever, you're just like, beep. Hey, can't slam the phone anymore.
Kind of like for the longest time we said hang up the phone, but like unless you're in a phone booth or you have those like old ass motherfuckers where you just like click it, it's like no one has hung up the phone in like decades.
Can we talk real quick about the Hey Boys?
The joke that carried the movie.
That was so
100%.
Hey boy, really? It's like I don't even know you, Al.
Dude, the dad might be the best character in the whole movie. The dad is amazing. Like, dude, or the mom when she's like, and your dad specifically wants you to know that he's not proud of you at all. He keeps saying it all the time.
He didn't even want children. I feel like that line in particular was too brilliant to be scripted. I want to believe that actress came with that line.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Like, it was
Am I correct? Like yeah, the mom. I thought they were gonna go with the idea of like the parents don't age, like they stay the same. But we see the mom, and then the last time she's gained weight.
Yeah,
Different actress. Is that?
Yeah,
like,
no, it's the same
They're
actress.
doing
With
a
a fake neck.
his music
So
video.
what was the bit? Is that a bit that I should know of? Like,
They were trying to make Al say that he's gonna make the Fat Song, which was his second Michael Jackson parody.
Oh.
That was the joke.
Remember, he has the giant neck in the video. I didn't even get. Jesus, man.
Yeah,
So much I missed.
that's why she says like, I'm fat.
Yeah,
know,
she was.
because that's a line from the song.
Yeah, I don't know enough of his repertoire to
Yeah,
get that.
Which was great because then the Amish thing comes up and it's like that's a song from the '90s. So I was thrown away by that too. It's like, oh, like what other songs are going to be?
Not only from the '90s, but the dad had written it in the '50s,
40s.
Yeah,
right.
so I mean, okay, now it makes way more sense with the mom because then he tries to go back to it and she's like, "We're done talking about me."
Dude.
And the dad seeing it on TV like should have gotten the publishing rights.
Yeah.
Oh man. And then of course the other nominee for arguably not the best but most famous accordion player in a specific genre of music, fucking Prince.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Which out of
that actually happened?
Yeah. Which out of all the artists that Al has had like trouble with, supposedly Prince was the most notorious of them all. Like Prince like made it aware that he did not like Weird Al, like at all, which is fine because like you gotta
like for real life.
Yeah, in real life, I don't know how much of it was exaggerated or whatnot, but there was an incident where Weird Al and Prince happened to be in the same music show, and Weird Al's agent got a gram from the representative of Prince saying that Weird Al is not to make direct eye contact or any like gestures towards Prince, which was insane, I guess. And Weird Al has stated like publicly that out of all the artists who've like turned him down the most for parodies was Prince. So
I can see that. Prince is pretty notorious about his music.
Mm-hmm. So I just thought it was cute, the little jab, because at the same time I was like, okay, yeah, that's right. Prince does play the accordion, doesn't he?
That's the only other person I know who plays the accordion. Do you know anybody else that plays the accordion?
I don't.
I just thought Prince is weird enough to he put him in the accordion thing.
Alrighty, I guess
I love the pictures. What about the pictures at the end of Weird Al as a kid? They were like the cutest pictures, man. And I was like, his hair should have been more red in the movie. I got to be honest, because I didn't care. Like, I was looking at his pictures as a young kid, and I was like, oh, that was he was the cutest kid. Like
the little after seeing those pictures at the end, I was like, oh, the kid actor is like spot on.
The kid actor smashed it in general, though. He was really funny in his couple scenes. He killed it. That kid killed it.
Like he knew the assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, stop! You're killing him.
For a Weird Al movie, and I would imagine it's PG-13. A lot of deaths, a lot of killings. I mean, there's at least 10 people that died in this film. At least. I
killed more people since last Thursday. Remember that scene? I never killed anybody before.
Which one was that? How did I miss
He says, like, I never killed anybody before last Thursday, but I think I killed hundreds of people since then.
Yeah.
Pablo Escobar. This just occurred to me for the first time in life ever, just right now. Isn't it weird, like, as a society, like, how much killing there is in movies, yet as a society, like, killing is, like, the worst thing you can do to someone or something?
Like, I think there's an anthropological, cultural, like, need to, like, visit the taboo and, like, the most weird ways. And that's why so many of our stories are so morbid, because it can't get more exciting than that.
Yeah. I think, I forget, a British comedian, he did a bit where he's like, when you kill, like, and it's kind of like the meme too, I think was from Doctor Who, like when you kill 1 or 2 people, you're a bad guy. But if you like killed scores of people, it's like, that's pretty impressive. So I think like the more gratuitous and just like the amount of folks you kill, like the higher that is, the more acceptable it is.
And you become a hero.
Right.
And talking about great killings, how about Madonna with that gun?
Dude.
I was waiting for a line or a comment about her shooting. I was just waiting for it, but no.
Dude, and it had the bullet like hit the thing, and it was like poof, and it kept going in the same exact spot. And I was like, "Are they going to use the same?" And then all of a sudden, it was the other side of the room, and I was like, "Yes, I wanted that. I needed that. I don't know why."
And I think they're making fun of the 80. You know, that's where they have the squibs and stuff. Even though I'm pretty sure, you know, it's just CGI shots or whatever. But just like it's always in the like if the Dirty Dozen, all of those movies, it's always like in the same area. Reset. Just yeah.
Oh, that was also a visually pleasing scene. Just missing fucking Daniel the entire time.
Well, like that's also like what's so surprising about this film in general, I think, which like no one's talked about yet, is how it looks amazing.
Oh,
the
yeah.
cinematography of this thing is like spot on to the point where it's just like, guys, you guys did not have to make it look this nice.
I don't think it would have worked if they didn't.
You're not wrong, but like it's just like there are so many shots where it's just like, this is beautiful. And this is art. And this is art. And on a production schedule of like less than a month. Yes.
During COVID, I would imagine, or
right? Yeah, during COVID, like the amount of stuff they were able to get in such short amount of time, and yeah, like how, because like that the bar scene where they do the Rocky Road song, was great.
It was Patton Oswalt.
It was so. You guys suck. Trapper John. He was so. I feel bad. Patton Oswalt was supposed to reprise his role as Dr. Demento because he played Dr. Demento in the trailer from Funny or Die. He broke his foot. He broke his foot before production, so he couldn't commit. Yeah. But you know, he's got that Netflix money and specials going on, and his wife's murder books, so it's great. He's doing okay.
His wife that passed away, he's got a podcast with his new wife.
That's a crazy movie. Did you guys see that movie about that?
I'll Be Gone in the Dark.
Yeah. You haven't seen that? That's a crazy movie.
You should read the book.
I read the book, or no, I have the audio book, and it's really good read, really good book. Amazing foreword by Patton, you know, it's really touching. It's insane.
Yeah.
And I think I remember reading the original article that was like 4 pages or whatever, and it had pictures and stuff like that. But yeah, Patton was great. That band that he auditioned for was also there. Is that I wonder if that was like a real name to a band like that. But.
Was it like Skunk Barf or something?
Something Barf.
Which that was a great thing. Like, okay, we're gonna use the same band that he auditioned for in this scene. It's just brilliant.
Well, that's what they usually do in those music movies, right? It's like the people that told you, like, you know, that's what they did with Freddie Mercury and Queen, right? Even though that wasn't really the case, it was like, oh yeah, we're not gonna have you because blah blah blah, you don't fit our thing or whatever.
It's like a band doesn't want to have an accordion player.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Jason, I don't know if you know, but one of our neighbors plays the accordion. The little Mexican kid who sings and plays the accordion. right towards your right, Jason. You know who I'm talking about.
You should go get him. Go knock on his door. Bring him over. Let's have him play.
Like, hey, can Kevin come over tonight?
Can Luis come over?
You play your favorite Weird Al song.
What?
I think it said play your favorite Weird Al song.
Oh, that's funny.
You know what? I actually always thought that was the harmonica.
Our neighbor? Or,
it is a giant harmonica.
Close. It's a close cousin, yes. I think it's a wind instrument.
It's a harmonica piano.
Man, an accordion's everything, isn't it? It's technically a wind instrument. It's a key instrument. There's no
such thing as a key instrument. A lot of most instruments have keys.
The piano is a string instrument.
Mm-hmm.
String. Oh yeah, because it's hitting the little tiny hammers.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Giant harp.
Saxophones, those all have keys, right?
I think they're technically called something else.
Oh man, I don't know nothing.
My brother plays saxophone. So
oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
call him over. Tell him to come over with his sax.
I mean, he's all the way in New Mexico, so
we can wait.
Las Cruces.
So we'll have the new Mexican play the sax, and then the Mexican kid play on the little accordion. So we got magic going on here.
Is this like an 8-year-old with an accordion? Like, is your neighbor like a little kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a kid.
And he
Like,
plays
that's what I was
accordion?
saying. Like, I've always heard it. I just thought it was a harmonica.
No.
So he plays.
And
so you're saying it's an accordion?
Yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as he said Mexican, I believed it. Like,
He plays a couple of instruments and he sings and stuff. Yeah, he's a kid, but he's getting older now. I think he's like at least 12 or 13 now.
By kid, I feel like he's 16 now. But when I moved in, I feel like he was like 8 years old, right?
No, that's about right. That's about right.
Yeah.
He might be. I saw him the other day. I think I feel like he's like 13, 14 now.
Yeah.
Time is a
because even his sister, who's a little older, I was like, where all these young kids go to? They felt so little, and now it's like, oh
yeah,
shit,
a pandemic happened for 2 years, and all the kids are adults now.
Kid's got a mustache.
I mean, yeah, basically.
Dude, I so hope he sees this. It's like, I'm the accordion kid.
Got kids now.
Well, I remember.
Could you imagine in the span of like 8 years, like 30 has passed in his time?
COVID all hit us differently.
I mean, not kidding. It's more plausible that they would have a kid than I have a kid. No.
Well, I remember when I first moved in here, him and his friends were so impressed with me. I forget how I told him or whatever, but I was like, oh yeah, I do YouTube videos or something like that. And he thought I was a celebrity when I told him that. And I didn't really understand at that age of my life, like how big YouTube was to kids. And I remember I was like coming home one day and him and his friends were on the sidewalk. And he goes, oh, this is my neighbor. He's a YouTuber. They're like, you're a YouTuber? And they lost their
like Mr. Beast.
It was everything to them, man. I was like, whoa, this YouTube stuff is big with the kids, man.
Ooh, especially if this was back in like YouTube is making a resurgence because of Mr. Beast, but I feel like the 2011s and whatnot, like that's when YouTube like had all their YouTube faces and whatnot.
Everyone's now saying, all the kids are like, it wasn't anymore, I want to be an actor or actress or celebrity. It's like, I want to be a YouTuber or I want to be an influencer,
Yeah.
Like, good for you. Like,
I feel like kids wanted to be a YouTuber like 6 to 8 years ago. Now they would just want to be an influencer.
Yeah.
I feel like YouTube would have helped Weird Al on his journey pretty quickly. I feel like that would have been key for Weird Al back in the day.
Well, he's kind of comeback, right? What is it like? It was when I was in San Diego, so like 7 years ago or whatever. He released a music video one a week, I think, or was one a
Yeah.
day for a week on different platforms. So it was on YouTube, on Yahoo, a different one, on Vimeo, a different one, and they were all great. And he like talked about it, how, you know, parody. Well, the issue now is YouTube. There are all these parody spoof artists, right? That the minute a song hits, they make parodies. So he had to really, he has the niche audience, which his parodies are very much a Weird Al song. Like, it doesn't make a parody that turns it dirty, or, you know what I mean? Like, his are like clean cut. So yeah, he killed it. And then his album or those songs made it in the Billboard, like top 10 maybe. Like, first time he had multiple songs, top 10.
It was right on Straight Outta Linwood, the third to last of his albums, because his last 3 albums, those are the ones where he decided to put them online, and that was the start of like,
nerd alert. Nerd alert.
No, I'm not. I'm weird.
I really like the new video, Word Crimes. And not only that, but every video that he put out was a different like genre. There was one that was like more cartoon centric and stuff like like his level of experimental and just imagination that goes with his music, and then even as music videos themselves. And you see it in the movie itself of just like, let's do weird shite.
Being able to do it well clean too is impressive. It really is. There's something about being able to be clean in this day and age and still, you know what I mean? Like, even growing up, same thing. Like, he didn't have to step over any lines at all. I don't ever remember him being cursing. Was there a lot of cursing in the movie? Not really, right?
There was nothing
that I could think of.
I don't think it was.
It's clean with an edge, because Weird Al is willing to be absolutely violent in some of his his stuff, especially in this film. But man, I can't think of a swear word that was said in this movie.
I don't either.
I don't think they did. I mean, they had more blood and violence than word.
I mean, Daniel Radcliffe did say he was gonna whip it out.
Yeah.
You did say that. You know,
but it was funny that it wasn't. That it was the accordion. Like, that was.
It was funny that it was. Well, because the other thing is, like, they talk about mouth organ, right? Like, that's even though that's a harmonica, but it's also, you know, double entendre.
Man, it's like I rewatched this movie so many fucking times.
Already? Like, it's been out.
You've seen it at least 16 times.
With ads?
Shut up.
Did anyone? So Roku, if you're watching this, there was a law passed that TVs couldn't raise the volume on the ads. They had to be the same level as the volume that you had on the TV. And now Roku, as a streamer, is trying to get past that by raising the volume on their ads tenfold.
And that ad
don't apply to streamers.
I know. It used to be really bad on computers before, like, TV streamers, and if you were trying to watch something with headphones, it would, like, the minute it would go. I remember Hulu, the early on Hulu, when it was just on computer.
It's the worst as a parent, dude, because you'll be watching television and have it like turned down, like trying not to wake up your kid, and then commercial, boom.
At least this time, thank you, Roku, for not doing depression medication ads back to back to back. Roku had a nice variety of commercials, because sometimes those like Phoebe or whatever freebie
the Tubi ads
are playing the same commercial 3 times in a row. Like, not even. Anyway, that's another sidebar right there.
It is.
JT, anything else so that we don't do our review longer than the movie itself?
Yeah, you know what? We basically touched all our bases here. All our weird moments, weird actors. I'm going to throw in a quick shout out to Rainn Wilson as Dr. Demento. He did pretty awesome with the material. Also, Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna, and Arturo as fucking Pablo Escobar. His character out of all of them was probably the least played straight, but you know what? It's awesome that he fucking mocked a fucking drug lord the way that he did.
I think he had to play it to that extent, right? Like, when they first dropped Pablo Escobar, I was like, really? Like, you know, it's the glorification of stuff. So when he actually came into play, I'm like, this is great. Just over the top, goofy, you know, like
his hair.
I can deal with that. Yeah, that swoop of that hair was
awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Anywho.
Let's go now into, you can do it now, Des, the final thoughts of this movie. So I'm gonna use my magic fingers to try to scream left or right this motherfucker. I can't do shit. You know what? I think you're ready to go. You can go ahead.
I think it's a really good movie. I think it does everything that Weird Al does well. You know, like, that's why he has such standard. Like, he understands what's funny to his core. And this film does everything you want with, like, a Hollywood movie. You know, and the acting, it's really solid performances. And, like, I really hope more people give this film a chance. Because it's worth it.
Awesome sauce. You know, well, I can't see nobody, but I'll say Dino. Dino, you go ahead, batter up.
I'm kidding. I just wanted to be like, you can't change me. There we go.
So is that why there's not two wheels on an automobile? The steering wheels.
Probably.
All right. I enjoyed the movie. I think even though it's like over the top and a lot of stuff actually, you know, is very fake, it like really fits as a biopic for Weird Al. Like, it encapsulates who he is as a person, I think, and as an entertainer. And yeah, so in that sense, it's 100% true for a biopic for Weird Al. Great acting all around. Just like, I don't think there was one, like, they all sold it. They all were like in it. It's like they were all happy to be in this goofy ass thing. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Definitely one to recommend people. Did it go into theaters to be, I mean, thrown in, I don't know, different awards or whatever for comedy, I guess, or is it just maybe going to be for TV? I don't know. But hopefully it does get some sort of in the comedy or something like that, you know. Yeah. So that's my final thoughts. It's 2 Dino thumbs up and a pat in the butt.
It was in a few film festivals and a few theaters, but it was a very minimal release, and I think contractually they were only allowed to do that before the release on Roku. So yeah, there was a few. That's why they do say in the song, like this song is technically eligible for Oscar consideration because they.
Oh really? I stopped listening. Is that on the credits? When is that?
The credits song.
Okay, yeah, I was paying attention to the pictures, so I didn't really listen to the song itself.
Oh no, I stayed for the whole thing. There's even this ending credits scene where I'm just fucking. Let's pass it on to Chris. Chris is that way. There he is.
Yeah, dude, the hand at the end, like that. I mean, the movie is Weird Al. It's a movie, like, it would have been terrible if it was just his real life story, unless his life was very, like, it's 100% is a movie written by Weird Al. To me, I really liked it. I watch it again. If you like Weird Al, you're gonna love this kind of humor. If you're a fan of like Naked Gun, you're a fan of like the Walk Hard movie for sure. Like that to me was there was a lot of similarities in that movie. Like when they go to visit the Beatles, and then they're, in this movie when they're at the party, the pictures were funny at the very end when they make him, they have him with like Mick Jagger and David Bowie and everybody. Like, to me, it started off with like real things in his life, and then he was like, I'm still not going to just give you real life stuff. I'm going to give you this wacky stuff. So to me, this is a wacky movie. It's an enjoyable movie on a Saturday afternoon. It's the kind where if I'm flipping through the channels and it's on, I would definitely watch for a half an hour. I definitely really liked it.
Right, then we're gonna go to Dez. Yes, Dez, right there. There's Dez.
Hey, so again, what can I say that hasn't been said? It's a great movie. I really enjoyed myself. I normally don't watch movies twice, but I happened to watch this one 2 times because it's definitely one that, like it was mentioned earlier, it is one that when more watches, it gets even more enjoyable, and you start to discover even more little things about nuances about the movies and like storylines and characters and things like that. And if you're like me, you go into a rabbit hole now discovering all these crazy cookie characters from the past that I had no idea were actual people. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, I would recommend this movie to people that just simply enjoy comedy. If you enjoy comedy, whether it's like stand-up comedy or comedy movies or series or sketches or things of that nature, I would recommend this to you because, this is the only way you're going to discover it is by either word of mouth and things like that, since this didn't have a theatrical release like that. But it definitely is a film that I would say it was worth to have a theatrical release, even if it's like smaller markets. It will be awesome to watch it around other people. But yeah, 2 thumbs up.
Awesome sauce. And now we're gonna pass the Dochi on to Jason from what he was able to see, and perhaps what you heard from all of us with our mild spoilers and whatnot.
From what I was able to glean from everyone's review and from what I've seen of the movie, I can recommend this film. I can recommend this film to people who are like really into silly, goofy comedies, and I think the movie delivers in that regard. It's top-notch silly. People who enjoy parodies, people who enjoy Weird Al Yankovic, they're going to love this film. A lot of people on the social medias who are friends of mine, they all absolutely adored this film and had nothing but wonderful things to say about it. So it gets my recommendation in that regard. I don't know if this movie's for everybody. Some people might just think it's stupid. You know what I mean? To be honest with you. And it is a little stupid, but that's like what makes it that's what makes it a Weird Al movie, And it's just like this really broad parody, I think is the best way to put it. But it is funny. It is funny and it is charming, like Weird Al is. It's weird. It's I think Chris kind of said it the best, that it's a Weird Al film through and through. And you won't be disappointed if you're a Weird Al fan. Would I watch this again? I think I will watch this again with someone who was a Weird Al fan who hasn't seen it yet. I think I would enjoy watching it with that in that scenario. And this has been my final thought.
Awesome sauce, and then I guess it goes back to me. And my final thoughts, I'll compare this really quick to the UHF movie, since we did watch that as well. And I know that one was not as favorable amongst the group in our little forum right here, our film forum. And I believe that's because it was not to Weird Al's strongest suits. Because this one is definitely in his ballpark. Like it's about the music industry, and that's where he definitely is a fucking pop culture Cuisinart when it comes to that sort of thing. Is everything in the music industry. He definitely parodied the fuck out of a music biopic, and I'm gonna stay true to what I said. This is probably as accurate as any other Hollywood biopic out there, to be honest, in my opinion. And yeah, absolutely. For when it comes to a movie, as a movie itself, if I'm gonna be honest with myself, definitely probably a high C plus, but I would be fucking lying if I did not have my bias. This is an A plus movie for JP all the way. Jason said that if you're a Weird Al fan and you have not seen this movie, then guess what? You are not a fucking Weird Al fan at all. If you haven't seen it yet, it's been out for 5 years, motherfucker. You should have seen it by now, and I curse you. And I watched that movie 16 times with all the ads so I could help pay for Weird Al's gold-plated fucking jacuzzi. All 3 of them. He said 3 in the movie. And with that being said, with my high recommendations, I believe we have a final inquiry before we end tonight's talk. Jason, what you got to say?
Yeah, I do have an inquiry, actually. Steve, what do you got for us next week?
Next week, I don't know why you asked me when you, out of all people, know that it's your turn next week.
Well, thanks, because I had no idea it was my turn. So I selected 2 movies for you guys to vote on. You have choices because, like God, in that way, I give free will. But like the American political system, I'm only going to give you 2 choices. So we're going to get a little artsy, as we often do. These are 2 films that I haven't seen. So I want to present to you guys the first film, only because I like the title and the box, and it's directed by Sam Peckinpah. I want to introduce to you guys Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia.
Oh, okay. I definitely like that title, actually.
I've always been attracted to this box cover. I've never seen the film. I've never seen one frame of the film. So that might be an option for us. Our second option, I present to you El Samurai.
Ooh. Jean Pierre. Oh, and this one's a Criterion. Oh,
Jean-Pierre Melville. So you guys have your work cut out for you now.
Yeah, we do. I think both are pretty fucked. I've never seen either one of them, but I would definitely like to see both. Damn. All right.
So something's going to happen. You guys decide our fate. Choose our adventure wisely.
All right. Are you going to count it down?
I will. I'll count it down from 3, 2, 1.
Oh, we're watching that. Okay.
What do we got here? We got some 1s, a 2, and a 1.
So unless Jason, if you decide to pick 2, it's a tie.
It won't matter.
I don't get a pick. So I guess that looks like we're going with Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia.
All right.
Something tells me that this is gonna be like really extreme, but like
yeah, that's what I'm.
And
It's a Christmas movie,
I don't
right?
know what
Christmas
we're going to be
movie.
watching.
It feels like Godfather with how
and it's black and white.
And Scarface. I feel like it has a Scarface vibe.
I think it came out around the time of Godfather, actually. So this is a 1970s film.
I'm already having high expectations for this movie that we have no ideas about.
Yeah, I hope Red Fox is in it.
Was way before. It's
wait, Red Fox is in this?
I hope so.
What? Who?
Chris said he hopes Red Fox is in it.
All right. Well,
Jason Eccles, Steve STB, El Dondino, George Newman, and Evan Rachel Wood. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Ciao.